Hello and welcome everyone to Hi-Rez Expo 2019 here in beautiful DreamHack Atlanta. We are joining with the pre-show right now. I got Nick Pretty Hair Keo joining me, F. and Anatoly. Gentlemen, it feels good to be back.
Good to have you, man. This is the best time of year for all of us, the fans, all the lights, the cameras, the action, the big trophy on stage. I cannot wait to get into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head at the very first point. You know, we've done a really big job of bringing all the pros into Atlanta, but we don't get to see the fans so often, so that's what this weekend is, and I'm hyped for it.
It's always about the community here and the players for themselves as well. 26 weeks of competition to get here today.
We have 4 incredible quarterfinals games that we're going to be looking at, but before we even talk about Smite, Nick, we also have the Paladins World Championship. What can people expect?
Absolutely. I mean, we're dripping with storylines over at Paladins. The action starts tomorrow, so make sure you guys are tuning in as well.
Well, like we're talking about, everyone, we're of course here for the Smite World Champions today, and we had an incredible placement bracket that we had to go through. Obviously, a lot of us expected SK Gaming, but I believe the story coming out of there is Sanguine.
I mean, absolutely. The minor league teams making noise isn't really too much of a surprise if you've been kind of one of those hardcore fans. With the level of talent elevating in the pro league, obviously the bottom's going to be brought up, and the minor league has been incredible. But Sanguine, I mean, that's a different story altogether.
Vamos Sanguine, they pleasantly surprised me alongside, I'm sure, everybody watching from home when they defeated so many SPL teams.
And you know, one of the cooler things is, as you kind of mentioned there, I mean, they're an international representative, a Latin American squad. It's exciting.
Well, looking at the 4 matches that we have today, all leading up to the Smite World Championships, of course. The first match that we're going to be looking at is United versus Renegades, everyone. Tom, what are your thoughts on that first matchup?
That one's going to be, my personal opinion, I think it's going to be a little bit of an easy go for Renegades. United has been, I mean, hot and cold. It's tough to figure out what team you're going to see.
It's really difficult because Renegades looked so good during MSI, going undefeated, an impressive feat, and United have ended this on a rather cold note ever since Emilito took that little bit of a vacation. United did not look like the same team.
And I mean, to that, what Anatoly said, I mean, Nick, you see this across all esports. Teams can be hot in the middle of the season, but when it comes time to postseason, who knows?
I think Anatoly brought up a good point, right? The 26 weeks of competition. That's something that we've really kind of done differently this season, right? It's like, it always was about the fall split and how you did then, but these records didn't reset at the midseason invitation. I mean, you had to be strong the whole way through if you wanted to have a good seeding coming into the World Championship.
And we definitely saw a few teams there do well in phase 1, but then flounder in phase 2, and even the vice versa, where they had a hard time in phase 1, but then found their footings after MSI. The third matchup of today, Splice versus SK. Anatoly, what are your thoughts on that?
This should be a really spicy matchup. I'm looking at the support role matchup there. Neil Ma versus Aurora. When I look at Splice, I think of them as this Frankenstein team. You got 2 winners from Season 4, 2 winners from Season 5, and then plug-and-play solo or troll.
I mean, anytime I look at Splice, obviously I'm thinking about Aurora. I think Aurora has kind of been the support player to, I don't want to say emulate, because there are multiple different ways to play the game right now, and that's kind of beautiful. But everybody's trying to be Aurora, flat out.
I mean, for me as a longtime Smite fan, and Anatoly, for you as an ex-teammate, can you talk to me a little bit about like the strength of like Zapman's back at all?
Yeah, he's so strong that when you see Zapman doing a one-handed push-up, you can see how hard it was to carry Zapman.
Oh no.
But I mean, looking at all these teams, especially the big difference with Season 6, we had a lot of roster changes, a lot of North American and EU teams joined together. SK is actually the only team to not have any roster changes. What does that help them with?
Well, it helps them, obviously, the word of synergy that we, you know, that's what we're going to talk about. But what I think is important about watching this team come together is it's the nurturement of the rookies there, and that's why I think they stuck together. Paul and Sam last year kind of stepped up onto the big stage and was kind of working with it. But now this year, I think it was the better decision for them to stick with a unit rather than mess things up in their second year. So consistency is probably what they're going to get out of that.
I think the way that they ended Season 5, beating United, the defending champions back then in the very first round, led them to want to stick together just to see how they would succeed in Season 6.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Those are the 2 matches that we'll be seeing in the second half of our show, everyone, where we're going to be talking really quickly about the first 2 matches right after this quick break.
Hello, and welcome to the 2019 High-Resolution Exposition. Here in my hands is the script for this year's Hi-Rez Presents, our annual keynote address, which starts very soon at 11 a.m. Eastern. This script is the culmination of my life's work. Everything has led to this moment to share with you all the new things coming to Smite, Paladins, Realm Royale, and Rogue Company.
All right, here's what we're gonna do.
Guys, I'm so excited for this year's Hi-Rez Presents. We're gonna show so much crazy stuff for Season 7, and it's starting very soon at 11 a.m. Eastern. But you guys, I have a sweet-ass surprise for you right now. Our next new bad god. Fenrir. Yeah, get it? Fenrir. Anyway, if you want to see watch the Hi-Rez Presents at 11 a.m. Eastern. Was I supposed to say that?
Tina is a national treasure.
She doesn't change.
Protected at all costs.
All right, everyone. Smite Blitz, of course, downloaded now. You guys can check that out. You know, as someone that's been playing Smite since beta, sometimes you're going to get those long queues, and this is something that players have actually been asking for a while.
I'll tell you what, though. Sun Wukong in that game, busted.
Like release Wukong?
No. Nothing's going to be as broken as release Sun Wukong outside of release Guan Yu.
There you go. You guys remember Nemesis, though? I mean...
We could go on and on and on with this game, man. There's a whole laundry list of them.
Well, let's not talk about the gods when we have two incredible matches, of course, that we need to be talking about. First, it's going to be match 2. That is Dignitas versus PK Pittsburgh Knights. And Anatoly, you have Dignitas winning the whole thing.
The way they ended Phase 2 was really impressive to me because they ended Phase 1 by losing both to United and Renegades, and then Phase 2, they defeat those teams in a clean 3-0 sweep. Very impressive stuff out of them.
But you say that they beat them in a clean 0 sweep, but they also lost 4 games in that phase. So although they were able to defeat the teams that they lost to in Phase 1, they definitely floundered in other parts.
So I can kind of use evidence of Renegades, how they kind of floundered as well a little bit, but then they went undefeated. So I'm still looking at Dignitas of how they ended. Even though they started a little bit cold, I think they finally found what's clicking for them.
Well, I'd like to take a focus right now on the solo player for Dignitas, and that's Variety. Tom, what are your thoughts on Variety?
Variety has been a stand-up player. There was a moment between Season 2 and Season 3 where something clicked, and he became just a phenomenal solo laner that you can't mess with. I mean, frankly, his matchup here, can I be straight? It's going to be easy.
There's a big difference between Season 2 Variety versus Season 3 Obey Variety, where every analyst wanted to give him the MVP despite losing that set.
This is a guy that's already had MVP types performances, right? You mentioned the specific lane matchup that he's got for this one here up against the Knights. This is one that I'm looking for him to feast on, right? I want him to come in, fed out of his mind, 15 minutes in, whatever it is, and take over the game.
It's almost like if Variety does okay, it's a bad performance. He's got to come out and step on people's throats today.
And with the recent changes to tier as well, you know if he gets that god, it's going to be lights out for PK.
Well, also talking about PK there, tell me a little bit about the come-ups of them, Pittsburgh Knights.
Pittsburgh Knights has been interesting. I mean, they started the season, oh my God, look at this super team, watch out. And, there are a couple of realists out there saying, I don't know. But realistically, I think Pittsburgh Knights performed as well as you would expect them to. Good stuff, not undefeated, but strong stuff. This later part has been a little bit tough. I mean, moving zeros, thankfully, we have a sick analyst now, but they lost their mid laner, moved DW over there. I know they have Roe in the solo lane. It's tough.
Well, we're going to learn a little bit more about Roe because we have an interview with him right now.
Season's been going pretty great. We had some difficulty in the beginning, personality clashes, things like that. Worked it out towards MSI. Things happened at MSI. We lost the Renegades. They ended up winning the whole tournament. I felt like we gave them the closest games. That's arguable, but either way. Made some changes after that to try to fit the meta. Didn't work out. Created more tension in the team. That tension broke the team in the end, and we had to make some pretty emergency changes, which ended up me playing for the team. Who would have guessed? I mean, this roster has a lot of veteran talent on it anyway, so for me, obviously being more of a rookie, not a rookie, but more of a rookie, it's a weird label to have. I didn't include myself in that superstar roster. I was just, coaching and helping them in any way that I could, so felt like in the beginning we lived up to that pressure. In the end, didn't work out for reasons that you could put on most super teams in sports and esports as well. In the regular season, we were content with our performance. Obviously, we wanted more, but we knew eyes are on MSI, eyes are on Worlds. When it got to MSI and we lost, obviously we weren't happy. And then when it got closer and closer to Worlds and things were going well still, we still weren't happy, and that's why the changes had to happen. But overall, we were content in the regular season until the bad results of the bigger tournaments started to come in. Look, every SPL set's been a real good learning experience for me, so I can imagine playing in the placements would have been that as well. But that being said, I think I'm limited in certain ways, God pool being one, playstyle being another. And I don't want to show off all of my styles and all my God pools for people to prepare against me better. So I'd rather come in and have people have a question mark about me rather than them be able to read me. So I think it's good in that regard. I think the team can win Worlds with me in solo lane. I think if I just hold my weight, then I'm confident in the other 4 players on the roster. I think it hurts us a little bit not having that third point of view and not having a coach outside watching. But I'm absolutely confident we can win Worlds, and I also think it's hugely motivating as well because it would be quite the story.
I mean, Ro is put into a very difficult position right now, being the coach player, put into solo lane. Anatoly, how, as a solo laner, someone that hasn't really been able to practice with his team, how is he going to have to play to be able to support them?
He hasn't really lost them the laning phase, or the games rather, but he hasn't really won them the games the same way Deathwalker used to since his transition into middle, which I think is PK's biggest loss, is trying to replace the mid lane more than filling in the solo lane.
Well, that's going to be our second matchup of the day, but everyone, the first match that we're going to be looking at, Rival versus Sanguine. Anatoly, something that you considered David versus Goliath.
Yes, so the minor league team, Sanguine, surprising us all by making it through the placements, beating out 3 SPL teams, and now up against Rival, where they also lost to a minor league team, Armada, during the MSI.
That's right, F-Dot. I know that we were looking at the predictions, or I was looking at the predictions video that you guys did before placement rounds, and I don't think a single person put Sanguine making it through.
It's tough, and from my prediction video, I didn't have Sanguine getting out of placements. They were very mad at me, so I'm sorry, lo siento. But when it comes down to the big stage, I mean, there is a very big schism between the top teams, and Sanguine has impressed, Sanguine has done very well. All the superlatives are there, and that's all well and good, but it will be an uphill battle for them versus Rival. That said, and especially without Hardcore here, that said, I think it's possible that they could get some longer games. This won't be a stop. I think they will put up a fight, ultimately with an L.
Anatoly, do you think, though, with Sanguine, that they're going to have to play the meta, or are they going to have to, like you like to call, pull out some cheese?
They're definitely going to have to pull out the cheese, because Rival are looking so clean against every single SPL team, both Phase 1 and Phase 2. Their playbook is probably just the thickest out of every other SPL team, but when they get hit hard and early and get unexpected the same way they did at MSI, they seem to crumble.
I do think, away from the dairy products and back to the realness, I think that there is a possibility that Arkle could stumble versus Netroid and the way Sanguine played that side of the map. How do you feel about that?
I think that's a very fireworks matchup to watch, because Netroid likes to go for the PvP, as does Arkle. We could see a lot of contention just for the Ullr pick.
Yeah, I think it's going to be nuts.
Well, I know the matchup that I know people are going to be looking at is the solo lane there with Final K versus Haddix. Haddix, one of the newer players, again, having to replace one of the players that couldn't make it here. What are you guys' thoughts on Final K?
Final, man, I mean, he has been one of my favorite new blood in the scene. He kind of has it all, got a decent amount of, he's got a very wide God pool, but a very easy to identify gameplay style, if you will. I think Totally can expand on that.
Yeah, it's not just his YouTube content from A to Z doing that whole run through. It's actually also in the SPL. Like, out of all the solo laners, he's played the most in different gods, and he also dominates with those gods. It's not like he's feeding his brains out. He makes a statement, whether it's laning phase or even in the team fights.
I will say that, like I said, it's easy. You can identify what he's doing. He's playing a lot of different characters, but you can identify what he's doing. Usually, it's hard for people, and he winds up winning before that happens. So we'll see. I think Final's got a lot of the good tools.
Well, maybe we'll learn a little bit more about him with the Final K interview.
When you play video games, at least for me, it's if you really enjoy the game and you have a competitive drive, that you just kind of want to be as good as you can at the game. Like, it's just something that you strive to do. And this goes for like a lot of things in life, but obviously when you're playing games, it can be like that. Like I grew up pretty competitive. I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters, and you know, we all played sports and everything like that. So when it came to games, it was the same thing. And I think when it came to Smite, I just had so much fun playing it, and I enjoyed the game so much. I think it's such a good game that like I just want to be one of the best players possible in the game. And like in order to do that, you have to win the World Championship. So that just became a goal of mine as I kept getting better. Yes, this is my first time at Worlds to actually be a player. I casted the last Worlds, or at least I did analysis work on the desk. And that was fun, but when I was casting, pseudo-casting, and talking about the games, all I really wanted to do was be on the main stage playing and competing for, you know, the World Championship, of course, and like watching all my friends play and watching some people that I thought I was good as, or just as good as, and could compete with them play. I was like, yeah, I was like just the entire time thinking about trying as hard as I can next year to get to that spot. And I am here right now, fortunately, because I'm pretty blessed with like a really good team, and I'm super excited to play because I just want to try and get the job done, you know. I think the meta going into Worlds will be pretty similar to the end of the season. I think some teams probably are trying to hide stuff or play a little bit slower now that they kind of know their spot in the SPL as far as ranking goes. However, as far as my team goes, we're gonna just start dialing in our practice and focusing really hard on what we want to play and how we want to shape our meta going into Worlds, and hopefully we'll have a good gauge of what's going on with the meta and the balance right now, and we'll be able to dictate like how we want to play and force people to play the way we want to. So.
That was Fine OK from Team Rival. And when I was doing research for the Smite World Championships, I like to look at the lineage of these teams, but with the new changes with Season 6, it's really hard to actually say that this is the Team Rival from Seasons 4 and 5 that made it to Worlds, made it to second place, didn't like make it all the way through. But one of the players that we need to look at real quick, Captain Twig, is one of the players that has made it to the Smite World Championship every year.
The only one. The only one. And I mean, his words, it was easy.
Outside of Jeff and Barra that would have been here as also that kind of streak going, couldn't really make it because Sanguine stopped them.
Well, really quick, everyone, just to remind you the 4 matches that we're going to be looking at today for the quarterfinals. The first matchup is going to be Team Rival versus Sanguine. After that, it's going to be Dignitas versus Pittsburgh Knights. The third one is going to be Splice versus SK Gaming. And then to end it all out, it's Renegades versus United. But before we can get to that, everyone, we have the red carpet to go to, so everyone don't go anywhere. We're gonna be right back after the red carpet.
It's almost time to drop into Rogue Company, the new action tactical shooter from Hi-Rez Studios. We're showing our first behind-the-scenes look of Rogue Company at this year's Hi-Rez Presents, which starts at 11 a.m. Eastern. You'll see guns, weapons, and more guns. Are you ready to go Rouge? Mother, who screwed up the teleprompter? It's supposed to say go Rogue.
Oh, sorry, a little awkward there. If you love IO as much as me, then you're gonna love what's coming to Paladins in 2020. We're gonna be featuring our next champion in the Hi-Rez Presents, and it's gonna start in, check swatch, 11 a.m. Eastern. And if you're a fan of Royale, it's also gonna feature this guy.
Welcome down, everybody, to the red carpet here at Hi-Rez Expo, live from DreamHack Atlanta. Lots of fun. This is the main entrance to a weekend of fun going on here at Hi-Rez Expo. My name is Dolson. Gormizer joins me down here on the red carpet. Gore, how you feeling?
Man, I am excited. This is always one of the best weekends when it comes down to it, just all year. Great competition, great games. And of course, we get to meet everybody who comes in to watch them just like us.
And there's a completely different energy about all of this. We have had a year full of play, obviously at our studio up in Alpharetta. There's a different pressure, I think a high intensity going around this weekend.
It's that concept of LAN is a little different because there's a crowd now, right? They've been playing on LAN all year, but there's that added atmosphere that's going to be coming through, and that I think is really what's gonna maybe shake up some of the players, shake up some of the games, and also add that benefit. When you're here, it's just an electrifying feeling.
And I think even beyond all of that, lots of high-res games to look at this weekend. I see a lot of people over there playing Rogue Company already. What are you looking forward to most?
The games, the competition. Finals, obviously, Sunday is going to be great, but also the people that we're going to be able to talk to right here right now.
That's right. Isaiah and Michaela joining us down here now, community specialists for us here at Hi-Rez. How's it going? Another Hi-Rez Expo for you? How you feeling?
dude, this is like what we look forward to every single year, a celebration of Hi-Rez games and the Hi-Rez community. Super fantastic.
And what exactly is like your favorite moment? I mean, both of you work with the community all year, but this, you finally get to meet them. Is that just something that's different?
Yeah, absolutely. Getting to be face-to-face with the fans and just sharing the energy, I mean, it just grows exponentially. It's the best weekend of the year.
What are you guys looking forward to the most, do you think?
Oh, me, it's definitely the games. Season 6 of Smite has been probably my favorite season for Smite esports, and then just seeing the World Championships live with the fans, it's going to be awesome.
And you know, it wouldn't be a red carpet if we didn't ask you, who are you wearing today?
Oh, yeah, this is very true.
I am wearing something from a boutique in Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah, there you go.
How about you, Isaiah?
So I am actually wearing our brand new merch from our partners over at Into the AM. We worked with them to get some awesome swag for Hi-Rez Expo. We're premiering it here this weekend at the event, but if you're not joining us, you can go to intotheam.com/HRX to pick up some fresh gear.
Well, it all looks great. Thank you guys very much for standing by and talking to us a little bit. Enjoy the event. Should be a lot of fun. We'll see you guys in there.
Have fun, y'all.
And joining us up next, Nicholas Bayshore, the community manager for Paladins Esports. Working with you often throughout the studio, but finally get you down here to HRX. Lots to look forward to. I'm sure you're going to be a busy man. What Paladins games do you think you're looking forward to? You got big semifinals tomorrow.
It's going to be a big day. We've seen these teams, you know, playing all year, and they're all just equally on par. I'm excited to see how the Knights bring it over the weekend, and also excited to see how Virtus Pro kind of compare. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
And this is one of those weekends, I mean, you watch every game with us. You have to listen to us all the time, so I'm sorry about that, and just to lead into it. But you get probably the most highlights out of this year, but how different is it just being in person, having this LAN, like, crowd feel?
Having a LAN and crowd is like a whole different type of energy. You know, when we're in the studio doing our thing, we've got it down, we have some great games, see some great play. But when you have this crowd around you, this stage, I mean, this red carpet, it's incredible, right? It really brings it up to 11, which is awesome.
Well, thank you so much for standing by with us. I'll see you in there. Look forward to hanging out with you more this weekend.
Have a good one, guys.
Next community manager up, Avrin, of course, over on the Smite side of things. I'll ask you the same question we led Nick off with. What Smite sets are you, I mean, there's so many going on today, lots of close matchups throughout the weekend. Anything of the 4 matches today that you look forward to?
First match of the day, Sanguine Rival, man, that's the top seed of the SPL versus the underdog team that ran all the way through the playoff bracket and qualified to Worlds against all odds. And I'm also a little bit of a Sanguine fangirl. I have a soft spot in my heart for them. And I'm really excited to see how that match plays out.
I think you have to. I mean, clearly an underdog story, you have to be rooting in some capacity for Sanguine.
And blanket statement, I mean, you're here, it's the event, we've got a crowd, we've got people coming in. Yes. How does it feel, and how is it different?
It's so amazing. It's amazing every year, but I don't know, this is one of my first years doing it as CM, and I don't know, I love our fans, I love our players. It's just, I love seeing everybody here and getting to spend time with them.
Well, everyone loves to see you here too.
We all love seeing you, Avrin. Thanks so much. We don't want to hold you any longer. Go ahead and go in and start enjoying the event. Up next, we have none other than Tina joining us out here on the red carpet. National treasure, right?
As we've been told today.
You proclaimed her, Kelly said national treasure, right? So at least proclaimed by Kelly. Excited to have you down here. You know, what do you think you look forward to the most out of this event? Playing the games, watching the games, what's on your plate?
I'm actually really excited to just hang out in the community area and meet all the fans and anyone who just wants to talk or play games or make cards or whatever the hell you guys want to do. I'll be there, ready.
And that's the biggest thing. I mean, the event is kind of centered around, like, obviously we have the games, we have the crowd, but it's meeting the people who come through. You work on the game day in and day out. Now you actually get to talk to people about it. How does that feel?
It's amazing because it's like sharing the same passion and excitement that I have building the game and actually like seeing people who love it as much as I do, so.
Do you think you're going to sit down and try to take anyone on in some Smite?
I mean.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. She wasn't. Oh, she got hacked. That's no good. I don't know. Do you know what that means?
I would.
You got hacked. She got hacked.
Phone after this just to make sure.
Yeah, I don't know. She got hacked. Get out of here. I don't want to get hacked either.
I'm sorry.
AJ, get over here. You're not hacked yet. Oh. Tina's running away. She's hacked.
I don't know if you want to add the yet to that.
Yeah, no, he's not hacked yet. I don't know what just happened, but yeah, do you know what just happened there?
I don't know what happened. Maybe some rogues of some sort. Maybe they're in a company.
A company of some kind, maybe. We'll ask you a similar question to what we asked Tina. What's it like, you know, working on the game year in, year out, and actually getting to come to the event, talking to people from the community?
It's the best time of the year, honestly. I look forward to it all the time. It's just, you know, you already work this amazing job, which you love, and then you just get to come here and celebrate it with everybody who cares the most about what you do. I couldn't ask for anything more.
I want to see if I can sneak something out of you. Is there anything that you can give us about the upcoming like Hi-Rez Presents or anything that's going on that you feel is good to throw out there?
All right, since it's close enough, a lot of people have been asking me, and I want to just say there will be a trailer that shows some previews of upcoming gods. We're going to do that again this year, so I'm really excited about it.
That's pretty much all you ever need.
That's right. That's coming up right around the corner. Thank you so much for standing with us, AJ. Get in there. Enjoy the event. We'll catch you later. We got a big one coming up next. National treasure in Tina. The man himself, Doug, joins us down here. Spectator for Smite. Doug, you've worked with us throughout the entire year, but now we're here. We're at Hi-Rez Expo. What's it like being here in the live environment?
Well, I mean, I've been here before, and it's always nice to, be here. It's the crowd reactions are what makes it great.
Absolutely.
And that's the biggest thing, again, you watch all of the Smite games, you camera all of the Smite games, but now you're kind of in this environment. Does it kind of amp you up? Like, does it make it a little more intense?
No, I just gotta be a little bit more calm, because if I let it get to my head, then it's gonna make my performance worse, and ultimately everyone's not gonna enjoy it as much. So I gotta, keep it cool.
Is there any practice coming into this event for you? Anything that you tweak on a week-to-week basis? Anything you bring out for the event itself, or just same old, tried and true?
During placements, we tried some new stuff, and I'm gonna implement that here. It's stuff I did recently, but then I forgot to do it, and now I'm doing it again.
Well, Doug, you got some games to spectate. Go ahead and get back there. We'll catch you inside. We got another spectator joining us on the red carpet next. Cornbread, he's over on the Paladins side of things. Big shoes to follow there with Doug coming out first. But now you're here, you're at Hi-Rez Expo. What's it like being in the live environment?
I mean, the energy here is amazing. The stage is wonderful. I'm just so excited to see the gameplay this weekend. It's going to be phenomenal.
And I have a similar question to what I asked Doug. I mean, you kind of get to sit back in the studio, it's comfortable. Now, live environment, like you're gonna be hearing people reacting to the shots, what's going on. Is that gonna kind of entrance you more in the game?
Oh, absolutely. Finding a really great play, getting it up on the screen, and then hearing people cheer is gonna make the adrenaline, start pumping. So it's gonna be exciting.
Now, I am curious, because Doug, in his own right, everyone knows him, everyone loves him, we all love you as well. Is there anything you take away from a veteran like Doug? Do you watch the way he spectates? I know he's done some interviews here and there. What do you take away from a big personality like that?
I mean, he's been doing this a lot longer than I have, so he's got a lot of wisdom that I can take. He's just a great guy, and I just love his attitude.
Well, you're a natural nonetheless. We'll get to see you in action tomorrow during the semifinals. Cornbread, thank you very much for joining us out here. On the Smite side of things, we're going to bounce back one of your casters in Finch walking out here now. Finch, good to have you out here on the red carpet. I think you got some work to do here pretty soon, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. It's really cool to be up here being interviewed by Gormizer, my boy right here, and then you're one of the interns, or?
Yes, yeah? Yes, I'm an intern, been here just briefly.
I just hadn't seen you before, so I didn't know who you, okay.
Right, okay. So anyway, you're casting next, so I should leave the venue while you're on, yeah?
Yeah, that'd be a good time. We want to avoid the Finch cast. Now's the time to get at it.
Okay, perfect. You're looking forward to it, though. It's a big matchup, underdog versus top seed. Who you got?
You're exactly right. I mean, I gotta give it to rival, but Sanguine could certainly pull off an upset.
I think you are going to be coming through with some of the bigger sets today. Semifinals going to be just as big. Do you have any predictions for who's going to take the weekend, though? Who's going to be the champion?
I got to put my money on Splice right now. They look like the strongest team coming into the week, so I'm going all Splice.
Well, you heard it here first from Finch. He's got Splice rounding out the Smite World Championships this weekend. That's it for us here right now on the red carpet. We're going to send it back up to the Alienware Lounge in Hi-Rez Presents.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Gore. And welcome, everybody, to Hi-Rez Expo. That's right. Look, Hi-Rez Expo is great for a lot of different reasons. It's not just because we have these incredible athletes up here competing. We've got that in spades. We're going to crown the best Smite and Paladins teams in the world this weekend. But it's also because we get a chance to connect with you, our community. That's what Hi-Rez is all about. And we know that you, the community, love spoils. You want to know what the next Paladins champion is, or what's the next for Realm Royale. What's the deal with Rogue Company, the new IP we've been working on, and of course, which are the next deities being added to Smite next year? Now, I'm not going to tell you any of that, but I've got some friends who will. This is Hi-Rez Presents.
Hello, and welcome to all of our gods, goddesses, and champions.
Thank you so much for coming to the Hi-Rez Expo at DreamHack Atlanta.
Stop. Are we really doing the same shit as last year?
2020 is going to be a huge year for Hi-Rez Studios. We really need to wow people with this year's Hi-Rez Presents keynote.
I have an idea. 2020 is going to be a huge year for Hi-Rez. We need to wow people with this year's Hi-Rez Presents keynote.
I literally just said that.
I got it. Imagine this. We totally need
an epic voiceover guy detailing the game announcements that will be premiering during Hi-Rez Expo.
I don't really like having epic and game that close in proximity in our keynote.
Shut up, Isaiah.
You shut up.
These press conferences usually do a quick run through of the announcements that will be made during the presentation.
It's like when the movies do a teaser before the full trailer comes out. I hate that.
Don't we do God teasers?
What if we start off with our dev teams and
talk about our newest title from Hi-Rez Studios, our tactical action shooter called Rogue Company.
Then we'll go through the reveals and updates planned for Paladins in 2020.
Then we'll talk about what's coming up for Realm Royale.
What's with that chicken?
Realm's gotten weird on Twitter lately.
Finally, we'll wrap up with a look at the new gods, announcements, and updates coming up for Smite in 2020.
And then we'll wait for overwhelming, but obligatory, applause from the audience.
Hold up. We definitely need to mention
this year, we've implemented crossplay for Smite, Paladins, and Realm Royale on PC, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and most recently, PlayStation 4.
And we're still fully committed to our charity efforts, raising around $500,000 this year with the help of our generous players, and doing something each month with our volunteer employee group, Hi-Rez Helps. To cap off 2019, we have a brand new charity event benefiting the Georgia Make-A-Wish Foundation called Winter Wishes, which will be live on December 12th.
So basically, our Spring Fling charity event, but in winter?
We were going to call it the Blizzard Bash, but legal didn't want us using the B word.
Bash.
This is good. But when do we get to the real announcements?
Right now. But before that, we need to have a celebrity cameo.
Wait, will you get Keanu?
Are you saying we're getting Keanu?
We got Keanu!
Sure.
What's going on, everybody? This is Caleb from Beartooth. This is Ashi from Beartooth, and we are very excited because now, if you go on Smite's store, you can get the Beartooth music pack. You can crank it up real loud, jam some rock and roll with your buddies. It's a great time. We're going to love it.
Destined for greatness and death!
When missions call for a team that exercises diplomacy or keeping a cool head, a light touch or restraint, you should call a different team. Because that is not what we do. It's the opposite, in fact. You guys ready?
For those of you watching live at Hi-Rez Expo,
Strap in, suit up, and get ready to roll out.
it's time for Rogue Company.
You might be wondering why we're all suited up for an action movie montage.
That's just what cool guys do. Don't leave that in.
And now we're all geared up and ready to show you an exclusive look inside the development of Rogue Company.
In case you missed our Nintendo Direct reveal back in September, Rogue Company is the new tactical action shooter from First Watch Games as well as Hi-Rez Studios. Undertake high-stakes missions playing as elite mercenaries in a variety of objective-based game modes that will challenge your team's tactical and strategic abilities. But for now, let's take a look at the development of Rogue Company. our team had one mission: create a free-to-play multiplayer shooter. Rogue Company blends the exciting nature of an action shooter with tactical decision-making.
Rogue Company is all about objective-based gameplay, with ongoing content that's delivered on a regular basis and a game experience that is the same across all platforms.
First Watch Studios is a band of developers from Hi-Rez Studios and industry vets. Hi-Rez Studios has spent over a decade perfecting games as a service and competitive esports.
For the development team, a core shooter is one that focuses on the gunplay experience. It means that although there are abilities and lots of different ways to augment the gameplay, at the end of the day, your skill with shooting the weapons, with knowing the right weapons to use in the right situation, is still the dominant factor in whether you win an encounter or lose. What Gandhi brings to the table is he's not just a phenomenal designer. In fact, he's a world champion Halo player.
The tactical elements of Rogue Company start with the fact that it's round-based, one life. So every decision you make is meaningful. The action elements come from everything else. Whether it's shooting a grenade launcher, throwing a melee weapon, all of these elements create throwing moments. Objective-based gameplay was a core pillar for Rogue Company because what we really wanted to emphasize was strategy, teamwork, and at the end of the day, meaningful decisions. The meta supports a bunch of different play styles, and it really comes down to what's the best fit for your team. We wanted to say, all metas can work, and the decision is on the player.
With Rogue Company, we're taking on the challenge of creating our own IP and our own property. And one of the things when we started the project that we wanted to make sure we did was find really strong world-class talent.
The world of Rogue Company is set roughly 9 years in the future. We have a motley crew of very fiercely individualistic people from all walks of life. It is its own entity, separate from any government, but many governmental organizations do turn to it for help. When Rogue Company takes on that contract, Rogue Company has vetted it and approved it as fulfilling the main goal of the group, which is to right the world's greatest wrongs.
Evelyn brings over 15 years of experience in narrative design and in building worlds, and we're very excited about having her to help build the Rogue Company universe.
The direction for our map creation process is that we want to really have a competitive game, so we want to keep our environments nice and clean. A lot of the maps that we've created are areas that the Rogue Company has just entered into. High Castle is this estate/villa that's on the side of a mountain cliff in Italy, and it's got all these beautiful trees and beautiful rocks. It's a really interesting environment that you probably haven't seen in other games. Panama Canals was a map that we worked on for a few months. We wanted to make sure that we put a spin on your typical canal. And so the idea is that there's this war cruiser and this cargo ship that's exploded. And so players land into this scenery and have to fight the enemy combatants. Skyfell is an awesome, awesome map. Basically, it's a skyscraper in Dubai. It's brand new. It's super modern, super chic. It's where all the elite go to shop and party. And there's a nice, beautiful gallery.
So the art direction of Rogue Company is something that's not your typical military shooter. It finds itself really embedded in realism, but at the same time, there's a sense of flair to things. Dima is my favorite character. We came up with an idea where he was this guy that was boisterous, over the top, and would pretty much go to any lengths to get the job done for himself.
One for you, one for you, one for you.
Rogue Company has all of the usual suspects of weapons and equipment: sniper rifles, shotguns, pistols. But in addition to that, our eclectic band of mercenaries allows us to make some weapons that are a bit more non-traditional.
After years of making Rogue Company, we are so excited to share our labor of love with the gaming community.
Rogue Company is coming to all platforms in 2020.
You might be wondering when you can get your hands on Rogue Company. Well, we've got news for you.
Rogue Company's alpha keys are going out today. Sign up at www.roguecompany.com and get your key on lock.
If you've already signed up for a key at roguecompany.com, check your inbox and suit up. And for those of you at HRX 2019, you can play the game on the show floor.
Alex, what are you doing?
The hunt is on, dearest of Dales.
You realize that the hunt is an in-game quality initiative.
You think this is a game?
Anyway, since joining the Evil Mojo team earlier this year as executive producer of Paladins, the team has been 100% focused on quality. Through the hunt, we've made a sweeping set of process improvements, polished rough edges, and even fixed some incredibly long-standing issues, including Terminus. We're not done yet, and we're going to keep the hunt going through 2020 as we make Paladins better and better.
Not only that, we also held the first election of our Assembly of Champions, a community-chosen council of players that brings the community's concerns directly to Evil Mojo. The AOC advocated for AI improvements, shooting range quality of life updates, various balance and bug fixes, and the overall improvement of Paladins. They've really become friends of Evil Mojo. We're happy to announce that we'll be continuing the program into 2020. Applications will be live Wednesday, November 20th. Watch our social channels for complete details on how you can apply.
Back to 2019. This year also saw the rollout of full crossplay in Paladins across PC, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and finally, PlayStation 4. Oh, sorry, that's me. Hello?
On top of crossplay on all platforms, we've released 4 new champions over the past 12 months. Our newest champion, Rom, was just released recently, so you can play as a freaking demon with a minigun for free on all platforms today. Do it now. I'll wait.
This year also saw the release of Amani, Atlas, and Io. We took extra development time to polish these champions, resulting in some of our best champions yet.
Did someone say Io?
Wow, Kevin Meyer, lead designer of Io?
Oh, please. Kevin Meyer was my father's name. Call me Kevin Meyer.
We've talked a lot about our new champions last year in Paladins. Hey, Kevin, you want to talk about the new champion?
No. I want to show him.
I was looking for this. I will have your soul. Come and get it. Son of a... Suffer for this. You're ridiculous. I like you. Ooh, that's going to leave a mark.
Introducing Tiberius, the Weapons Master. This eccentric new damage champion utilizes chakrams and a massive heavy blade to showcase his superiority in battle. Whether bouncing his glaives off floors and walls or recalling a sword lodged in a wall back to his hand, you can be sure that everything Tiberius is doing is in style.
Through our exhaustive research of in-game metrics, ancient tombs, and deviant art, we've realized that people love animals with human-like features. Man, I really wish there was a better word for that.
We've gone through painstaking details in designing his kit and making sure his tiger-like movements translate to fun and fluid gameplay. With his versatile moveset and varied weapon kit, we know you'll agree. Tiberius is the cat's meow.
We've got so many exciting things to introduce in 2020 for Paladins. Let's run through some of the highlights.
Alongside Tiberius's release, we're celebrating our community with the release of a brand new Battle Pass, the Community Battle Pass. This Battle Pass includes Dark Monarch Leon, Monkey King Talus, Soulbriar Grover, and Squadron Ash, each concepted by you, our community members. This is the first of 6 Battle Passes that we'll be releasing in 2020, so we're just getting started. Are we Lilu Dallas? Because we got multi-pass.
Speaking of community and skins, we've got something very special coming for you. The long-awaited Sweatshop Eevee skin. Oh, Sweet Shop Eevee skin. Wow, that was almost really bad.
We talked about Tiberius earlier. He's going to be the first of 4 all-new champions in 2020. The 4 champions in 2020 will represent each class of the game, so we'll see a new frontline, damage, support, and flank of the year, or PSS for short. There's got to be a better way to say that.
Somebody once said that 2019 was the best year ever for Paladins.
That was me.
Well, they lied.
Rude.
Because 2020 is going to be even better.
We can't thank you, the community, enough. And from the entire Evil Mojo team, thank you for always playing our favorite game.
From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for allowing the Evil Mojo team and the world of Paladins into your gaming lives. And Amanda's right, the best is yet to come.
And now it's time for a message from our friends at Heroic Leap to tell you what's coming in the future for Realm Royale.
Hello everyone. I'll be your guide for today's Realm Royale update. My name is Chicken Man. You may recognize me from our chicken combat videos from earlier this year. 2019 has been an exciting year. We released Realm Royale on Nintendo Switch, along with full crossplay across Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. It's an amazing thing to see. You could say it's poultry in motion. Haha. We've also added new weapons like the minigun, as well as revamped the Guntown and Lost Forge areas of our game. In addition, new mechanics have been introduced, including catapults, chicken combat, and a third ability slot, in addition to 3 new battle passes with new skins, mounts, and nests. I mean quests. Haha. But now, we are excited to introduce the newest addition to Realm Royale. Coming in early 2020, we are pleased to announce all new limited-timed events. With this feature, we'll be regularly rolling out all new game modes for you to enjoy. This new feature will ensure that there's always something new to see in Realm Royale. And the best part is, this new feature will be absolutely free for all players when it hatches in early 2020. Thanks so much for tuning in. Let's cross the road over to Titan Forge and see what's coming up for Smite.
Wow, this is awesome. Hi-Rez Presents is going really great so far.
Yeah, Paladins has a lot of cool stuff coming in 2020. Realm Royale's looking great. And did you hear about Rogue Company? Securing objectives, taking down bad guys. Looks pretty interesting.
But none of that has anything to do with Smite. So I think it's about time I start talking uninterrupted about Smite's plans for...
Greetings, Titan Forge. It appears there might be a Smite delay in your regularly scheduled broadcasting.
I feel like we could have overpowered them at some point.
It would have been a whole thing.
Titan Forge. It seems we've had a busy year, haven't we? You released 8 new gods in 2019, including the first simultaneous god release with Horus and Sith.
You released the new Yoruba Pantheons with the god releases of Oloron and Yemoja. And just this week, you released the Ruby Battle Pass in collaboration with Rooster Teeth, featuring Ruby Rose Thanatos, Blake Belladonna Amaterasu, Wise Schnee Freya, and Yang Xiao Long Terra.
Available now on all platforms.
And let's not forget the Olympians. The Smite Player Council has effected changes to game balance, suggested quality of life fixes, and made reducing player toxicity a huge priority.
And of course, Smite Blitz, the all-new mobile game set in the Smite universe. Available worldwide on iOS and Android. Did I miss anything?
No. And that was a nice use of B-roll there while you were talking.
Which brings us why we're here today. The Norse Pantheon has gone untouched for way too long.
We will not sit idly by while you create a diverse cast of gods. This is why we are here. All future gods must be Norse.
But we just did Jormungandr this March.
It was this year, wasn't it?
Well, Titan Forge. It seems we've had a busy year, haven't we?
The Vikings have taken over the whole studio. It's time to try hard and go die hard.
Now you understand our demand, Mr. AJ. All gods must be Norse, or your life has run its course.
Wait! Hostage negotiations are a part of the scenario, right?
Usually the hostages aren't the ones doing the negotiation. But I appreciate your enthusiasm.
What if I told you that our next god was not only a Norse god, but a Viking too? Roll the trailer.
Heimdall, do you really think you can stop me?
That's why I'm here.
Very impressive. But what about Heimdall's ability?
Heimdall, a unique Norse hunter who throws his axe with a unique basic attack chain. He brings his legendary sword, his horn, and the Bifrost to break the mold for hunters.
You've been very cooperative. It would seem that Heim is not the only doll here. What of the future gods, Titan Forge? What about your plans for 2020?
I really shouldn't. We have ways of making you talk, Mr. AJ.
You monsters. Oh, finally. Okay, you win. Just let her go. I'll show you all the new gods for 2020 with the brand new trailer. Enjoy.
You've come seeking a vision. The threads of fate hold the answers for those worthy. One thread, a defender of Asgard, with eyes on the horizon over the Bifrost. Heimdall. Another strand to the east. A land of warriors as plentiful as trees, with one rising above all. Deeper still, into the woods, there resides a home that is a sanctuary for none but Baba Yaga. Darker still, the infinite abyss rushes like waves, and yet more comforting than what lies beneath. However, even the darkest night gives way to the light of the moon. But that's a tale for another time. The threads of fate bind us all. What will they hold for you?
That's it?
I'm sorry. Is 6 new gods not good enough for you?
We demand Norse gods, not Baby Yoda,
Baba Yaga,
or whatever that ball with ears is.
Oh, damn. We need more, AJ.
Well, we are working on some major design changes for Season 7.
I'm listening.
We're working on a new Joust map, and the art team is really going all in on it. Our goal is to bridge the gap between current and classic Joust, bringing the best elements of both into one brand new version of Joust.
We're also working on a brand new Chinese event. This event will celebrate the new Chinese god, as well as the redesigned Joust map. It will include a fantastic story, plenty of free quests, and some great skins.
We're also working on brand new god reworks, including 2 of your most requested gods.
Odin is going to have at least 2 abilities completely overhauled to bring in more aspects of his runic magic and his mythical spear. Bastet will also be seeing big changes to her abilities to let her use her summonable cats in more interesting ways. Conquest will be going through multiple balance changes. New XP camps will be added near dual lane, the geometry of mid-harpies will be heavily changed, and a new jungle connected objective will be added by the speed buff.
But what of balance?
Well, of course, we're doing exhaustive god balance and item changes, which I can go into full detail on right now.
Oh, hi, can I help you?
And that will result in balanced beats.
Wow, you guys really have a great plan for Smite. I feel like we should apologize. This has all been one big misunderstanding. Cut them loose.
That was easier than expected.
Hey, sorry about the whole kidnapping thing.
Hey, us too.
And you know, I've learned something today. Even though we've had our differences on the direction you're taking the game, you've really shown us that Smite's best years are ahead of it. Maybe we should trust the Titan Forge team to...
Leaving so soon, dirtbags?
Isaiah?
Yippee Viking, motherfucker!
Thanks for tuning in to our Hi-Rez Presents 2019 Keynote. The work we've put into Smite and all of our games is not only because we love our games, but we love you too.
Stay tuned for more info about our Season 7 update in the coming weeks. The gods and updates we have planned for 2020 are some of our best yet, and we can't wait to get them in your hands.
From all of us here at Hi-Rez Studios, thanks for watching. We hope you have a great Hi-Rez Expo.
So do you think we should clean this debris up and the Viking bits and stuff.
Welcome everyone to day one of Hi-Rez Expo, the Smite World Championship Series. We have 4 incredible quarterfinals that we're going to be looking at today. Joining me here at the Alienware Lounge, I have, of course, Zeros, F-Dot, and Ionic. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me here.
Thanks for having us.
Ionic, how's it doing, man? How's it like to be on this side of the stage?
Very excited. It's a little bit more relaxing, I think, to be analyzing and not playing.
Zeros, I don't know if I should call you Viking Knight Zeros. I didn't know that you were an actor as well as a player, and now an analyst.
Now that I'm not a pro player anymore, I have to try new careers, so it is what it is.
Gentlemen, thank you guys for joining me here. Like I said, we have 4 incredible quarterfinals that we're going to be taking a look at. But before we do that, let's see the journey that all these teams took to get to here.
The Smite Pro League has always been a League of Legends. Every year, the players in competition improve and get stronger, and Season 6 would be no exception. This year, the league moved everything local. The big show broadcasted live from Atlanta every weekend. Players leaving everything at home, now literally, to be the best player imaginable. 28 weeks, a true test of strengths. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and Team Rival were the first out of the gates. Only losing 1 match in their first half, Rival were the pace setters. Every team had started looking up to what they were doing. With the mid-season break came a mid-season tournament inviting the Pro League and some sneak previews of other notables, Sanguine from the minor league, and even a surprise performance from Console Native's Hype Unit. Renegades take the tournament with a burst of steam and continue that into the second half of the season. Joining them in a neck-and-neck race would be Splice, the defending world champions, finally coming into form. The season standings would set the table for the week. The Smite World Championship. 2 more teams will join the fray. Sanguine, the Latin American team from the minor league, and SK Gaming, a team on the cusp of greatness. The table is set, and the marathon is about to come to a close. One last sprint, and one last question. Who is the Smite World Champion?
Well, folks, that was then. This is your Smite World Championship, and taking the stage, Team Rival. Captain Twig's been to every single land. Polar Bear Mike is the leader, and the team will take the stage, but will they take the trophy? One more time for Team Rival. Their competitors representing Latin America, it's Sanguine Esports! Multiple different countries, multiple different languages. Haddox representing, well, Michigan. Everyone else, Uruguay, Chile, etc. Give it up one more time. Say vamos and hola to Sanguine! Fantastic stuff. Our competitors have taken the stage. Team Rival versus Sanguine. Kelly, this is going to be bombastic.
For match number 1 of the day, the story that we said a little bit earlier, David versus Goliath. And Ionic, this is something that I want to talk to you about because, unfortunately, Luminosity Gaming lost to Sanguine. What are your thoughts of them as a team? How are they able to dominate the placement rounds?
Yeah, not only does Sanguine have very strong individual players, but they also just work so well together as a team. They have a really amazing ability to game plan something and then stick to it. They're a very well-coached team.
Zeros, what are some of the things that you want to be seeing out of Sanguine here to potentially take down Rival?
I don't know. I think Sanguine looked really consistent through placement week, and they drafted really good. And when Haddox played really well in the solo lane as well, I just want them to have a solid draft.
Well, it looks like we're already getting into picks and bans of game number 1, everyone, with Hell and Amaterasu being banned on Rival and Sanguine side, respectively.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see the Hell ban here. Hell's kind of been a staple ban for against Sanguine. Shinto's probably one of the best Hells in the game, so that's going to be, I think, banned every game in this set.
A lot of people are afraid of Hell because she's a healer, but Shinto, and we might see some from Paul later with SK, they play her offensively, like aggressively, full power, and that scares the hell out of people. So good ban here coming out from Rival.
The first set of bans coming out here, and no surprises for the bans so far.
No, I think the ban for Sanguine pretty like the strong picks like Jorm was so strong at placement week. Expect to see that one. Persephone ban for Sanguine side, though. Kind of surprised to see that one. I think she might be a bit overrated.
A lot of people were talking about that during placement stages. I mean, when you talk about these top level players, you're playing ranked, she's banned. You're scrimming, she's banned. You're on SPL games, she's banned. So what's the percentage that they actually have a Persephone is a real conversation.
Yeah, having Persephone is interesting because it's kind of a risk. Do they have a Persephone player? Do they not have a Persephone player? In Sanguine's case, they definitely do have Persephone player. We saw it from Shinto at the placements.
Merlin and Xingqian coming out for Sanguine here. What are you expecting that we're going to be seeing from Rival now?
I'm very excited to see the Xingqian. A big question people were asking me coming up to this Worlds was, what's the sleeper god? What's going to be Xingqian? He is going to be all over this tournament. Mark my words right now.
Ooh, looking at Rival right now. Thor and Serket, and then finishing it off with Freya to the sky.
This Freya pick is actually interesting because it's one of Netruid's preferred picks as well. So maybe they're playing it because they think it's a strong pick. Maybe they're playing it to take it away from Netruid.
I know you can do
and
that.
Just a reminder, this is the placements patch, not the current patch you're playing at home. So that's old. That's new, old. It's non-reverted Freya. So it's a weird ball pick for sure.
Yeah, it's just the early pressure from Freya right now, I think. I think pressure in this meta, at worst, I think we're going to see a lot of early pressure. And even though Freya got nerfed so much, she's still so good level 1. Outpushes everyone and really good at fighting, so.
And in all of Freya's iterations, she's always been a specialty character. If you've got a good Freya, no matter what your favorite tier list says, your Freya can just be good enough, and I think that's what we see here out of Rival.
Yeah, I really like these first 3 picks out of Rival because they're kind of all flex picks except for the Freya. Freya could go ADC, she could go mid, it's most likely ADC. But I don't really see the Thor going to Captain Twig. I think it's going to go to Final K.
I agree there. The one question I do want to ask you guys is the Freya. A lot of times we talk about taking it away from the opponent and doing yourself a disservice. Is that almost... Can Rival play Freya, is the question.
Yeah, I think Arkil has always been really good on the magical ADCs. I prefer him on the traditional hunters, obviously, like the Ullers and such, but he can definitely play a Freya and Kronos at a very high level too, so definitely for Arkil, I think.
Well, speaking on that note too, them picking away Freya from Sanguine, does that mean that Rival is concerned about Sanguine? Are they taking them seriously? Because we've seen Rival at MSI lose to a minor league team before.
Yeah, Rival has actually been a really strong top team, but they've gotten upset quite a few times. They actually lost to Armada at MSI, and they lost to us, Luminosity. At the time, we were last seed. So Rival, I think, is really going to do their homework here. They don't want to get upset again.
Xbalanque now being picked out for Sanguine. Last 2 picks for Rival 0, so what do you want to see here?
Yeah, just about the Xbalanque though, I think it's a little bit weird. Well, Netroid loves the Xbalanque, but he played it against Streak Up on Simplicity at Placement Week, and he got demolished in lane. They did end up winning that game though, but like really rough early game, and as I've mentioned, I think early game is going to be really important here. So
I think that's what the Achilles is for. If Achilles doesn't wind up in the short lane, Achilles will be able to carry through the early and the mid. Neeson. Oh.
Well, that team comp, Ionic, what do you think of Rival's comp right now?
I mean, this is just kind of a classic Rival comp. Lots of different gods could go lots of different places, but I'm thinking it's going to be